Don't pursue passion, pursue the opportunity. If you are an instructor, if you are a teacher who only teaches knowledge, you're in trouble. Because the AI teacher is going to know a lot more than you. So that means every teacher is going to have to upskill themselves. Many people say, follow your dreams. Don't follow your dreams. That's wrong too. Because you can only dream so small. We would attract students who think in the future and who are not afraid to create the future.
All right, today we are at Karjat. We are at Universal AI University, and with us today we have a very experienced professional. There's a lot to cover from his journey. I don't know where to start from, but we'll start with first his introduction. Dr. Simon, why don't you introduce yourself to our audience?
Sure. So my name is Dr. Simon Mak. I'm the founding Vice Chancellor at Universal AI University here in Karjat. We are India's first AI university, and I'm the first American Vice Chancellor here in India. So it's great to talk to you today.
Awesome. As we were discussing off camera that you were born in Hong Kong and then after that you moved to Texas.
Yes.
And from that MIT happened. So Dr. Simon, just take us through your journey because it has been very interesting. Also, I would love if you can highlight on some of the turning points or important decision points you had to take while going through this.
Very good. So I was born in Hong Kong, and then very young, my family moved to Texas. And so basically grew up as an Asian American immigrant family in America. And I obeyed my Asian parents very much. And they said, study hard and go to a good college, right? And get a high paying job. And that's what I did. And so fortunately, I was pretty good in math. Because I was pretty good in math, I was able to get into MIT. At MIT, I studied mechanical engineering. And when I graduated from MIT with a degree in mechanical engineering, I got a high-paying job in a corporate engineering company. But then something happened. I wasn't happy. Here I was, I worked so hard to get into MIT, I worked so hard to get a high-paying engineering job. I wasn't very happy. I wasn't satisfied. And what I realized was that I satisfied my Asian American immigrant parents' dreams, not my own dream. And so I decided, I didn't know what I wanted to do, but I knew engineering wasn't it. Right around that time, my corporate had a program to train engineers to go into sales.
Okay.
And so I didn't know what sales was. I was sort of a nerdy engineer, but I knew I didn't want to do engineering anymore. So I stepped out. The opportunity came. I stepped out into sales, and I loved it. I was very much enjoyed meeting customers. I was a sales engineer, and so basically showing technologies to customers and trying to help them using our products. Then I got very tired of working in a large corporate, and so I said, "What else is out there?" Well, I moved to Silicon Valley, and one of my MIT classmates actually took my resume and gave it to a startup in Silicon Valley. Now, keep in mind, I never thought I would work for a startup because I have the Asian mindset. I want to work for a safe corporate company. So I thought I would just try another safe corporate company. Well, this startup called me up and said they wanted to interview me. And right at that interview, just like this, they made me an offer afterwards. And that was my first Silicon Valley startup. It wasn't my startup. I was employee number 10.
Okay.
Well, we were one of the fastest growing, most successful startups at that time. And we ended up going IPO.
Okay.
Well, when a company goes IPO, they have a lot of money to expand. So they decided to expand from California to Texas. And guess who they sent to Texas to open up the Texas business? Me. So that's how I ended up back in Texas. All right. When I got back to Texas, I realized that I didn't have any business knowledge. I was still sort of a nerdy engineer kind of guy. And so I decided so I left my Silicon Valley startup I took their stock options. All right, in America, stock options are very famous.
Right.
They're not as famous yet here in India.
Uh-huh.
But as I took my stock options, I cashed it out, and I paid for my 2-year MBA program in Dallas at a school called SMU.
Okay.
So I got my MBA in finance, and when I graduated, I decided to go do another startup. So I did my own startup magazine.
Mm-hmm.
That crashed. Then I did a .com. So I did a healthcare.com, and that crashed during the .com. And then finally, I did what was called a turnaround. So a turnaround is where investors put money into a company, try to turn it around and sell it. So that's what I did. They hired me as the VP of Sales and Marketing. I helped turn the company around, and we sold it to some Japanese investors.
Mm-hmm.
And then I called up my old SMU professor, my MBA professor, who taught me entrepreneurship.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, can I come and just hang out at SMU for a year before I go to my next startup?
Mm-hmm.
And he said, sure. And when I was there, I said, wow, this is what I wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
I found my calling.
Right.
All right. And so I asked my boss, I said, can I do this longer? And he says, yes. So 1 year became 20 years.
Oh, okay.
While I was at SMU, I was teaching in the morning, and in the evenings, I was getting my PhD in systems engineering. And so I was getting my PhD in systems engineering. Once I got my PhD in systems engineering, they promoted me to run the program. All right. The entrepreneurship program was what I ran eventually. Well, after 20 years, I was thinking about doing something different. And that's when I got a phone call from a search firm.
Okay.
From India.
Mm-hmm.
And so they said, oh, we have this exciting opportunity. It's a brand new university. They want to focus on artificial intelligence. They're looking for somebody with a tech background, Silicon Valley experience, and entrepreneurship background. I said, yes, that sounds really great. Where is it?
Mm-hmm.
And they said, Mumbai.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, thank you very much.
Too far.
Too far. But then I started researching. I started researching India, and I found out that India is going through a rapid change right now. Lots of changes, especially in higher education. And so the Indian government is moving away from the British model to the American model.
Interesting.
The British model is more of a silo, single, discipline kind of model. The American model is more of a multidisciplinary model. And so as I was researching that, I said, this is a very interesting opportunity. They invited me out for an interview. I met Tarun, the founder of Universal AI University, immediately clicked with him. I met the other faculty and staff, really, really enjoyed meeting with them. And then I came home and I had to convince one more person, and that was my wife.
Okay.
So I had to convince her to come. Of course, we're both spiritual people, so we prayed about it. And after I prayed about it, I felt the calling to come. And so opportunity plus calling equals go. And so that's why I'm here.
That's amazing. So this entails pretty much your entire journey, and I have so many things to double click on here.
Yes.
And before we talk about the changes that you were saying, that from a British model, now the higher education space is going towards American model.
Yes.
So I want to talk about that change later.
Okay.
But first, I want to know more about, so here the notion is, even in B schools, right, whenever we meet students, they are very apprehensive about their career, and they are still in that phase where you were, I think, 20 years or 15 years back.
Yes.
Where they were kind of dabbling in things and figuring out what they want to do.
Right.
So Dr. Simon, I want to know, everything clicked after you have tried many things.
Yes.
And you actively pursued probably growth and learning.
Yes.
And so what was a North Star always? Because I see you were trying different things.
Yes.
And so just wanted to understand, what was the North Star when you were doing all this?
Yeah. Very good. My North Star was to pursue opportunities, not my passions.
Okay.
Many times people say, pursue your passions, right? That's actually wrong. If you pursue your passions, you don't do anything different. In other words, if you're trying something new, are you passionate about it? Of course not. If I wanted to learn the violin, or if somebody said, learn the violin, I'm not passionate about the violin, but only after I practice day and night, nonstop for 5, 6, 10 years, then I have the passion. So that's the first thing is don't pursue passion, pursue the opportunity. And so that's what I did. Whenever opportunities come, I said, oh, let's try this. Let's try sales. Oh, let's move out to Silicon Valley. Oh, let's try a startup. Oh, let's try academia. Oh, let's try India. Never was that in my career path. That's the opportunity. The other thing I will say is many people say, follow your dreams. Don't follow your dreams. That's wrong too. Because you can only dream so small.
Oh, interesting.
Right? And so I could never have dreamed that I would be talking to you right now, right here in India, in Kerja. Never could have dreamed it. So what we want to do is we don't want to follow our dreams. We want to follow our calling. Opportunity plus calling equals go. And that's been my North Star. Now, having said that, I didn't find that out till later.
Yeah.
Remember, I was very influenced by Asian parents, very safe, and immigrant parents too, even more safe, right? You sort of have to know where you're at, whether you're comfortable trying something completely different that nobody else is trying. And so that's how I've sort of navigated my career. Planning is good, but don't let your plans get in the way of opportunities. Most people, when an opportunity comes, they say, no. And then later on, they think about it and they go, yes. Too late. The opportunity is gone. So I suggest you say yes to opportunities and then go, okay, I changed my mind. I thought about it and I changed my mind. So say yes to opportunities. And then if you want, say no later. If you say no to opportunities, it's gone. You're not going to be able to say yes to it later on. I learned that too the hard way. I used to say no to a lot of opportunities because I was very, very conservative.
So Dr. Simon, what are some of the things that, since we also lightly grazed the transition bit that you just mentioned, and I told that we'll discuss it later.
Yes.
I wanted to kind of bring that up in our conversation right now.
Okay.
And I want to talk about what is the transition phase that you see that higher education space in India is going through.
Yes.
And how do you, from your experience after have been in the US for so long, been in MIT, gone through it, work in Silicon Valley, through your experience, what gap are you trying to bridge?
Yes. So keep in mind, I've been in India 6 months and 4 days.
Yeah.
So my answer is based on 6 months and 4 days of experience.
Yes.
But I've also had these conversations with other people, and I would say that the number one difference that I see is in America, we give students a lot of freedom. For example, even at MIT as a fresher, I was able to take a class from a Nobel Prize winning professor. Whoa. Even as a fresher, all right? I was able to do that. I was able to do research with a world-class researcher, very, very famous researcher, and they paid me, right? And then I was also able to take as many classes as I want. MIT says, okay, if you want to take 20 classes, go for it. They don't say no, all right? On the fun side, I was able to join as many clubs as I want. If there was not a club, they would encourage you to start a club. And then I actually played competitive sports. When I was in high school, I played competitive basketball and tennis. So I went to MIT. I decided to try something new. So I played something called lacrosse.
Okay.
And so I played lacrosse. I never played lacrosse before. And I played for MIT for lacrosse. Now, I played on the second team, but that's okay. They give you freedom to try new things. Here in India, I want to bring some of that culture to allow our students some freedom. All right. So one of the things that I'm trying to do and I want to do is I want to allow our students to have a double major.
Okay.
All right. In America, double major, triple major is very, very popular. Here in India, not yet. So I've been talking to different people to see how we can do double majors. However, here at Universal AI University, what we have done is you have a major, and we now allow you to change majors. You used to not be able to do that in India. Once you decide what you wanted to go as a fresher, you were stuck, even though you hated it, right? not at Universal AI University. We let you switch between the different schools. So we let you switch between different schools. We let you take courses if you wanted to major in business and get a BBA, but you're welcome to take some Python classes from our School of AI, and you're welcome to take some music classes from our School of Music, right? To broaden that out. And so from a curricular perspective, that's one thing that I want to do. The second thing that I want to do, which is very, very common in America, we call it school spirit. Okay. Getting students excited and fun, having fun when they're in school. Well, in America, how do you have fun? You have fun around a school mascot. So one of the first things that I did when I was here is create a school mascot. So we are the official Universal AI Hawks. The Hawks is our mascot. Okay. We actually have a mascot costume, like Disney World, like Disneyland, and it is called Hawkeye. And so he wears a costume and he comes out and he's a hawk. Then we have a school cheer, and we also have a school hand sign for when we take pictures. And our cheer is soar high. So basically, when you take a picture, you do like this. So this is the hand sign, like you're grabbing fish, like you're a hawk taking fish from a river. And so you say, soar high. Okay. And school spirit. All right. And so school spirit makes your school experience a lot more fun, less stress. And research has shown that if students have more fun in college, they're more relaxed. Yeah. When they're more relaxed, they're more creative. And if they're more creative, they perform better.
Right. Dr. Simon, I want you to elaborate a little more on what are some core competencies students should develop when they're working with AI, and how is that learning integrated in management curriculum here?
Yes. So I'm going to answer your question through the lens of an entrepreneur. All right, that's how I think about the world. And entrepreneurs think through the lens of opportunities. All right. So what is the first thing that I want all of my students to learn how to do? Spot opportunities. All right. Now, AI is going to create many, many opportunities. So I want my students to develop a muscle that can immediately identify opportunities that are being created by AI. And that's what I want to do. I'm going to integrate entrepreneurship and AI here on campus because I believe that that's the correct model to create companies that create jobs. And whatever is involved in all of that, that's what we're going to do.
Okay. What shift do you think now, since AI is becoming powerful and more entrepreneurs will adapt this in their thinking process, probably their execution?
Yes.
How will it help them? I just want an application of that idea so that students can visualize that a little better.
Yes. I'll give you a really, really crazy visual. And this visual is actually not mine, but it's a visual by a guy named Sam Altman. Yeah. Sam Altman, OpenAI, right? He says he believes that using AI, we will have the first solo entrepreneur billionaire. In other words, his company is just him and AI agents. And that's enough to make him a billionaire. That's the vision. If you think about that, then you say, aha, how do you get there? How do you get there, right? And so what that means is his vision is AI is going to create so many assistants, agents, bots, whatever you want to call them for now, that helps a single entrepreneur do so much that will help this person, a man or a woman, become a billionaire.
Perfect. Just one last question about the curriculum, and then we move forward to the community part.
Yes.
Right? How does this look in the curriculum that is being taught here? So do you have any particular electives that everybody has to go through so that they all come from different walks of life, so you neutralize them with a prerequisite program that they have to follow, or or is it later they can, depending on their majors, choose things that they want to?
Got it. So let me just remind you, we have a School of Management, and for UG you get a BBA in AI. Okay. For MBAs you get an MBA with a minor in AI. Then in our School of AI, you get a BTech in AI and ML. All right. Then in our School of Music, you get a BTech in Sound Engineering. Okay. And so what we do is for freshers, for example, They all have to take AI, and we put them all in the same classes together. We mix them up. All right. So the music guys can meet the business guys, can meet the techie guys. That's one. So that's what we call horizontal. Vertically, all of our curriculum has to have AI embedded in it. Right now, we're still increasing it, but right now we're right about 15% of every curriculum having AI in it, and we believe we're going to be able to go even higher. Now, AI is going to make a difference, but also experiential learning. Okay, so what's happened, and this might be a question that you'll ask me later, but I'll jump ahead a little bit, is how is AI changing education and teaching, right? If you are an instructor, if you are a teacher who only teaches knowledge, you're in trouble. Because the AI teacher is going to know a lot more than you. So that means every teacher is going to have to upskill themselves, and they're going to have to move beyond just teaching knowledge. They're going to have to teach application. And so that's called experiential learning. Well, what happens is many instructors are so used to just being in academia, they actually don't have any real world experience. They're going to be completely exposed, which means they either have to go get real world experience, or they're going to lose their job, and they're going to hire people with real world experience to guide the students who already have the basic knowledge on how to apply what they learn from their AI. So that's kind of the future that we're going in that direction. Nobody's done this yet, by the way. This is all visioning right now, but that's the direction, and we're leading that direction.
Okay, Dr. Simon, since you have also worked in so many startups, what role does AI play specifically when you talk about entrepreneurship in India? Because here you see a lot of unicorn startups that has been accelerated, and they're rising. Post-COVID, we see so many unicorns, startup launches.
Right.
Yeah. So how do you see that?
AI is another tool, another technology, right? So as a startup, you can either be a startup that develops AI models, AI hardware, right? AI services. Or you can be a startup that uses AI in your back end to make your retail clothing store more efficient, right? And so I can see both of those. Right now, because of DeepSeek, I know India, and maybe even India's a government is trying to create their own Indian AI models. So right now, there's no AI models built in India, made in India. There's no AI models made in India. So there's a lot of push to create AI models made in India. Once you have those AI models, they're no good if people can't access them and use them for something, right? And so again, that's another aspect of entrepreneurship as well, which is the ecosystem has to develop. All right. So not only the software developers, but you also need the machines, right? The processors, the engines to do the training, the AI training, as well as just money to hire people and to build companies. And so it's a whole ecosystem. Entrepreneurship is not a standalone event; it's an ecosystem event.
Awesome. Speaking of ecosystem, here, since you will get like-minded students who want to pursue similar interests later in life, all tied back to their learning, the different learning that they'll be going through here. So how much emphasis are you putting in building a community which is AI specific, and students who want to probably are in line with your vision of doing things the way you are explaining them to right now, like how AI will be integrated in the jobs that they're doing.
Right.
So how do you see the ecosystem or the community of students that will eventually help each other to do this?
Yes. So what I hope is that we would attract students who think in the future and who are not afraid to create the future. All right. So you come here, we will equip you. We will train you to think about the future, that entrepreneurial mindset, looking at opportunities, and then we will equip you to create those opportunities. And so if we can have a community like that, it will be a lot of fun. It will be a community where new ideas will continue to build and build and build. And it will be a community where we can see immediate impact in the India economy, which that I'm really, really looking forward to being able to go to that level.
That's beautiful. Dr. Simon, it was great talking to you. One last piece of advice for students pursuing MBA in 2025. Do you have any words of wisdom from your experience?
Yeah. So again, try to have an attitude of pursuing opportunities. Don't pursue your passions, right? If you pursue your passions, you're doing the same thing, right? You're not doing anything new because new things are not passionate, right? So pursue opportunities, all right? And follow, don't follow your dreams, follow your calling. And at the same time, very, very important, find people who are like-minded.
Right. Dr. Simon, thank you for taking out time for doing this. I had a great time. Guys, if you like this video, please do let us know in the comments below. Also, there is a link in the description that talks more about Universal AI and the courses that they offer. So please do check that out. If there are any questions that you think are still left unanswered, please feel free to comment. We'll make sure they get answered by Dr. Simon directly. Meanwhile, this is Saif from Team Inside IM signing off.